Good morning, student. My name is Vinay Vishwanath Gawas. I am the teacher trainee of VYS B.Ed College, Kankavli. Today, I will be taking your class. So, before starting the class, I want to ask you some of the question. First one is, when we got the independence? The answer is 15th August 1947. Tell me, our country is a agriculture, tourism or the industrial based country. What about Goa? Our country is a agriculture based country. And what about Goa? Goa is a tourism state. Whether our country is developing or underdeveloped country. Our country is a developing country. Today, let us learn about the Indian economy of the eve of independence in the first chapter of economics.
Indian economy on the eve of independence. Indian economy was in bad shape when British left India. Their primary goal was to reduce the status of India to mere exporter of raw materials to Britain and importer of finished goods from Britain. This unjustly enriched Britain. Thus, in 1947, when British transferred power back to India, we inherited a crippled economy. The growth at the aggregate real output, GDP, was less than 2% during the first half of the 20th century and growth of per capita income was just 0.5%. Handicrafts industries ruined due to heavy taxation and policies of government, colonial, as the industry faced heavy competition from Britain imports. Land revenue system. The British introduced zamindari system. The zamindars were recognized as permanent owners of the soil. They were to pay a fixed sum to the government as land revenue, who were absolutely free to extract revenue as much as they could. British did commercialization of agriculture, hence no food crop was grown and these were used by British industries. No modern farming technology was available. Industrial sector. Policies of colonial government led to deindustrialization and India became an importer of finished goods from Britain and also a supplier of raw materials to Britain. Though India had no capital goods industries, but still some industries like paper industry were established after World War and Tisco, Tata Iron and Steel Company, were established in 1907. Use of these industries was limited to public sector like railways. India's export was more than import, but this didn't benefited India as more than half of the trade was restricted to Britain and rest was with China, Sri Lanka and Iran. Due to this, several commodities were not available in the market for common people. Also, this trade surplus was used by Britain to make payments such as war, etc. The British administration could not do much about this because of lack of funds. The roads were built with the aim of mobilizing the army within India and to transport the various raw materials. The railway was introduced in 1850. They helped to break geographical and cultural barriers, aided commercialization of agriculture, expanded volume of trade. Inland trade and sea lanes were also developed. However, some of the inland waterways like the coast canal on the Odisha coast proved uneconomical because it could not match the railways which managed to traverse the region parallel to the canal. Postal services and telegraph was also introduced in order to maintain law and order. Now let's know about the demographic transition and about first census. It is the transition from high birth and death rates to lower birth and death rates as a region develops from a pre-industrial to an industrialized economic system. The first census was done in 1881. After that, it was done in every 10 years. Second stage of demographic transition began in 1921. During this time, neither the total population nor the population growth was very high. Death rate and birth rates both were very high. Infant mortality rate was 218 per thousand. Therefore population growth was less. Life expectancy was 32 years. Literacy rate was 7% in females and 16% in males. Attempts were also made to estimate the per capita income by people like R.C. Desai, William Digby and V.K.R.V. Rao. In these, V.K.R.V. Rao's contributions were considered most significant. Thus, Indian economy was in bad shape and infrastructure facilities required upgradation.
Just now we have seen one video related to the Indian economy on the eve of independence. During the British rule, the economy is almost collapsed, but after the post-independence, the Indian economy started growing. Development under the colonial rule. Colonial rule means the British rule. India had an independent economy before the advent of a British rule. Though the agriculture was the main source of livelihood for the most people at the country's economy was characterized by the various kind of manufacturing activities. India was popularly well known for its handicraft industry in the field of cotton and silk textile, metal and precious stones work, etc. These products enjoy a worldwide market based on the reputations of the fine quality of a material used and a high standard of a craftsmanship seen in all the imports from India. During the pre and post independence of our country, the economic status of our country is in very bad shape, because under the colonial rule means the under the British rule. Textile industries in Bengal. Muslin is the type of a cotton textiles which had its own origins in Bengal, particularly placed in and around Dhaka, spelled during the pre-independence period as Dhaka. Now the capital city of Bangladesh, Dhaka muslin had gained a worldwide fame as an exquisite type of cotton textile. The finest varieties of muslin was called malmal. Sometimes the foreign traveler also used to refer to its The economic policy pursued by the colonial government in India were concerned more with the protections and promotion of the economic interests of their home country than with the development of the Indian economy. Such policies brought about the fundamental change in the structures of our Indian economy, transforming the country into the supplier of raw materials and the consumer of finished goods. Finished industrial product from the Britain. Obviously, the colonial government never made any sincere attempt to estimate the India's national and per capita incomes, and the India is the supplier of raw material to the Britain country during the time of independence.
India is an agricultural country. Haven't we all grown up hearing this? Agriculture has been practiced in India for ages. India is primarily an agricultural country. It's known as the backbone of Indian economy. Agriculture and its allied activities act as the main source of livelihood for more than 80% of the population of rural India. It provides employment to approximately 52% of labor. Its contribution to gross domestic product or GDP is between 14 to 15%. This growth in itself represents a remarkable achievement in the history of world agriculture. So, what went wrong during the colonial period? 1. Land revenue system. The colonial government in India introduced various systems of land settlement. The zamindari system was one of the land settlement systems. Under the zamindari system, the zamindars were the owners of the land and used to collect rent from cultivators. They were also required to pay a certain specified sum of revenue to the colonial government. Despite using agricultural land as a source of income, neither the colonial government nor the zamindars made any attempt to improve the condition of the land. They did not pay attention to developing the agricultural sector, hence it remained underdeveloped during the colonial government. 2. High dependency on monsoon. The Indian agricultural sector was deprived of irrigation facilities and technological advancements. As a result, the production of the agricultural sector was solely dependent on the monsoon. This created an adverse situation for the farmers and led to a low level of agricultural productivity. 3. Commercialization of agriculture. To maintain the continuous cheap supply of raw materials from India, the colonial government forced Indian farmers to grow commercial crops such as indigo, tea, and coffee instead of food crops. This resulted in the shortage of food grains and a dismal state of the agricultural sector. The motive behind agricultural activity shifted from self sustainability to commercialization, focused upon the increase of profits of colonials only. As a result, there was an increase in the yield of cash crops, but it helped the farmers in no way. Farmers were now mass producing cash crops instead of food crops, which were ultimately used for the benefit of British industries. 4. Partition. Additionally, at the time of partition, a large portion of fertile and highly irrigated land went to Pakistan, especially the jute producing areas that went with East Pakistan, now Bangladesh. Hence, the jute industry received a heavy setback. By and large, the Britishers further added to the plight of Indian agricultural system and left with an enormous task ahead of us. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.
In the above video, we have seen that the agriculture sector in India during the time of independence. 85% of a country population lived in the villages. Agriculture productivity became very low. Land settlement were introduced by the colonial government. Colonial government means the British government. Zamindari systems were introduced in that time. In Goa also, in this 2021 Bhumiputra Bill Act 2021 was introduced by the government. Land settlements that were introduced by the colonial government, particularly under the zamindari systems, which was implemented in the Bengal Presidency, comprising parts of India's present day eastern states, that the profit accruing out of the agriculture sector went to the zamindars instead of the cultivator. However, the considerable number of the zamindars and not just a colonial government did nothing to improve the condition of agriculture. The main interest of the zamindars was only to collect the regardless of the economic condition of the cultivator. This caused the immense misery and the social tension among the later. To the very great extent, the term of the revenue settlement were also responsible for the zamindar adopting such attitudes.
In the year 1947, this is how India looked like. Country didn't have any states, rather more than 550 number of princely states, 3 presidencies and 5 provinces were present. In this year, it was decided British will leave the country and all the territories would be independent. Presidencies and provinces were anyway under direct British rule, so those came directly under Indian government legally. But the scariest part was, all the princely states were legally independent to become individual countries. Had that happened, there could have been many different countries within India, just like one sees in European continent. This was a threat to unity of India as a single country. However, under the leadership of Sardar Patel, the Home Minister of that time, kings or maharajas of all these princely states signed an instrument of accession with Indian government. This instrument of accession was like a legal paper which said the owners of princely states voluntarily joined the Indian Union. One can just think of a legal arrangement in land deal done between two people or parties. This reunion process actually started before the independence and continued for some time after independence. Though many of the princely states readily signed the paper, few of them didn't sign so easily, such as Junagadh, Bhopal, Hyderabad and Jammu and Kashmir. There are eventful history present behind the integration of these princely states with Indian Union. When all the princely states were integrated, an organization of the territories were needed to have better governance and administration. So for the first time in year 1951, all the territories were organized to different states. Now let's take a look how Indian state map was modified multiple times since then to take the shape of today's state map. In 1951, United Province and Tehri Garhwal region were joined to form Uttar Pradesh, Gwalior princely state and many other small princely states in Bhopal and Indore region were reorganized to form Vindhya, Madhya Bharat and Bhopal states. Jodhpur, Bikaner, Jaisalmer and many other small Rajputana princely states all joined to form Rajasthan. Ajmer princely state however remained as it is. Bombay Presidency and princely states in Gujarat region were reorganized to form Bombay, Saurashtra and Kutch states. Madras Presidency and Mysore were reserved to form Kurk, Mysore and Madras states. Hyderabad princely state became Hyderabad state. Central Province and Bastar princely state joined to form Madhya Pradesh state. Orissa province and many small princely states in Orissa region joined to form Orissa state. Bihar province became Bihar state. Kuch Bihar, Khasi, Assam province and Northeast Frontier Agency region all joined to form Assam state. Jammu and Kashmir princely state became Jammu and Kashmir state. South of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal, Punjab and Pepsu region were present. So this is how India looked like in year 1951 after the organization of the territories. Then in 1953, there was a movement started by Telugu-speaking people in Madras state demanding creation of a new state. This movement was called Visalandhra movement. For that reason, in year 1953, Andhra Pradesh state was separated from Madras state. Now after this new state, demand came from many parts of the country for creation of different states. So in year 1956, Indian government entirely redrawn the boundaries of all the states in India and a new state map of India was born. Travancore, state of Madras, Mysore and Coorg were reorganized to form state of Karnataka, state of Tamil Nadu and state of Kerala. State of Andhra Pradesh again underwent change when Hyderabad state joined it. Parts of Hyderabad and Madhya Pradesh states, state of Bombay, Saurashtra and Kutch all joined to form Maharashtra state. Rest of Madhya Pradesh joined with Vindhya, Bhopal and Madhya Bharat to form bigger Madhya Pradesh. Ajmer united with state of Rajasthan meantime. Pepsu region also united with Punjab state. Uttar Pradesh remained unchanged. Bihar and West Bengal changed slightly. So this is how India looked like after 1956 reorganization. 1956 reorganization created a kind of blueprint of states in India. Since then, no major reorganization has happened in India. Only new states have been created by separating them out from bigger states. First in 1960, Gujarat state was created from north of Maharashtra state. Even after independence, Goa region was still under occupation of Portuguese till 1961. It was liberated from them and joined with Indian Union as a union territory and later became a state. In 1963, Nagaland state was formed from Assam state. In 1964, new state of Haryana was created from Punjab in south, and some part of old Punjab joined new Himachal Pradesh state. In 1972, Northeast Frontier Agency area from Assam state became Arunachal Pradesh. Mizoram and Meghalaya were also formed as new states in the same year. In 1975, Sikkim, which was an independent Himalayan country, decided to join India as a new state. In year 2000, new state of Jharkhand was created from Bihar in south. In the same year, northern hilly region of Uttar Pradesh became a new state of Uttaranchal, which was renamed later to Uttarakhand. Also, eastern part of Madhya Pradesh became state of Chhattisgarh in the same year. Finally, in year 2014, Andhra Pradesh state was divided to Telangana state and New Andhra Pradesh state. Interestingly, Telangana is the same region of Hyderabad state, which had joined Andhra Pradesh in year 1956.
Today we have learnt about the pre and post independence of our country, economic development under the colonial rule, and the agriculture sector. It includes a zamindari system and Bhumi Adhikari bill. So now I will ask you a few MCQs related to the today's topic. If Britain was the ruling imperial power, India was its first option colony, second territory, third neighbor, and fourth one D1 is superpower. The answer is colony. Second MCQ. The most predominant sector of the Indian economy prior to independence was A. Agriculture, B. Industry, C. Service sector, and D is trade sector. Answer is A. The agriculture sector. Third MCQ. The main reason for the stagnation in the agriculture sector during the British rule was A. Technological deceleration, problem of irrigation facility, land settlement issue, and decentralization. Answer is C. Land settlement systems. For your homework, you have to find out the picture of a town or the villages in your vicinity of the pre-independence period and compare with the present scenario. Which change you what is the change you can identify, and also you have to mark it. Are such changes are better or the worse? Then discuss among me, and thank you for listening to my today's sessions lecture, and have a nice day. Thank you.